Okay. Hey everybody. Oh, it say my connection this week. Oh, I need to actually. I know what it is. I need to. Okay. Hey everybody. Sorry, I had to get my Wi-Fi together because I don't want to have a weak connection. Just trying to wait until everybody start kind of um, coming on before I start telling my story. I hope everybody can see me and everybody can hear me. Um, Basically, I want to tell my story. One, because everybody keeps asking me exactly what happened, and everybody keeps asking me why I haven't gone back to work. Can I go back to work? And you know, they want to know like what happened with my surgery and all of that, and they want to know why I'm handicapped or whatever. So I kind of just want to tell my story, not to put my business out in the street, but hopefully to help somebody. What I really want to get from telling my story is to, one, strengthen everybody's faith in God, and two, to hopefully help somebody and hope that what happened to me doesn't happen to anybody else ever. So if I tell what happened to me, hopefully it'll never happen to anybody else, because then you'll know what signs and symptoms to look for if your loved one ever has a hysterectomy. So it took me a long time to tell my story, because without being emotional for a long time, it took me a long time. So I'm going to try today to tell my story without being emotional. So I'm just trying to let this feed build in so everybody can know what happened to me, and you know why I can't go back to work and everything. So just bear with me. I'm just trying to let more people come in so I don't have to keep repeating myself. So anywho, so I'm just gonna start, and I hope y'all don't have weak stomachs, because I'm gonna be showing pictures of what I went through and everything. So let me just get started. And everybody who's joining, whoever comes in late, y'all can rewind the video after I post it. So basically, January 6th of 2015, I went in for a just a normal routine robotic assisted hysterectomy. And so during the hysterectomy, at the beginning of the hysterectomy, the doctor used a robot. So the robot's arm went in too hard and it pierced my small bowel. The doctor did not know this. So she continued my hysterectomy, and she noted in my note that there was uncontrollable bleeding. So she stopped the bleeding, but she didn't, check to see where the bleeding was coming from. So she continued with my hysterectomy, and she closed me up. Now, mind you, my small bowel has been pierced, but she does not know this. So, an hour after my surgery, I was in extreme pain. I mean, screaming. So my stomach began to swell, and I'm asking her, like, why is my stomach swelling? She's telling me, well, maybe you have a hernia. So I'm saying, well, I didn't have a hernia before the surgery, so how could I have a hernia now? So anyway, she basically told me, well, if your pain continues, I'll have a general surgeon look at you, and we'll we'll go, you know, over that in the morning. Well, I didn't make it to the morning. My pain continued. She put me on a pain pump. My blood pressure continued to drop. I was screaming in pain. They continued to just up my morphine. Every time we pressed the nurse's button, the nurses kept ignoring me. They kept telling my husband that my pain was normal, that it was something, normal to experience after a hysterectomy or whatever. So they just basically kept ignoring me. Now, mind you, my blood pressure is going down. I'm literally turning gray. I'm telling my husband, like, I'm dying. He's like, don't say that. I said, no, I'm dying. I feel like I'm dying. So he's like, no, don't say that. Now, my machine's going crazy, beeping everywhere. My blood pressure is dropping 20 points every 10 minutes. I'm literally dying, literally. So, I'm literally going out. So he finally, like, sees me being unresponsive. So he goes to the nurse's station and he literally grabs a nurse. So she comes in and she sees my numbers. She takes my blood pressure manually and she has this like frozen look on her face. At this point, she pushes him out the door because at that moment I literally coded. I went into septic shock and I died. They resuscitated me to the point where I could go into emergency surgery. And when they opened me up, bio literally was spilling out of my stomach. So they had to do a small bowel resection. And so I developed peritonitis. And peritonitis is a really, nobody really survives peritonitis. Peritonitis is when bile spills into your abdominal wall and it pretty much eats up your organs. And so that's pretty much what it was doing. It spilled into my abdominal cavity and it literally killed my organs. And so that's why I went into septic shock. And that's what really ultimately killed me. So after they opened me up and resectioned my bile, I coded again on the table. This time they revived me. I didn't come to. I slipped into a coma, and I was in a coma for almost 2 weeks. I literally was in a physical death. I literally saw myself like I was outside my body. I literally saw myself laying in the bed. They told my family it was nothing they could do, that the poison had already gotten to my brain, and it was, they needed to make funeral arrangements for me. And bless my mama heart, she is afraid of flying, but she flew here to Florida, and she didn't believe the doctors. She wouldn't take no for an answer. She wouldn't take what they said. She wouldn't let anybody come in my room crying. She wouldn't let anybody come in my room upset. She wouldn't let any negative energy into my room. She talked to me as if I was alive. She wouldn't let them, she wouldn't take it. She was like, no, like, y'all can't tell me about that my daughter dead. Like, they were like, she doesn't have any brain activity. She's pretty much a vegetable. It's nothing we can do. Like, we've done everything we can do. But she kept talking to me. And like I said, I was literally outside of my body. Like, when I say, if you ever heard in the Bible that the angel of death comes for you, that is really true. The angel of death literally was sitting in my room looking at me. And I told him, I know you're not coming for me because I'm not going with you. Like, literally, I didn't go with him. So I just kept listening. Like, I heard voices, like it sounded like a microphone. And I just kept listening for the voices. And every day that I listened to the voices, they became clearer and clearer. And that's pretty much what brought me back. And it was my mother and everybody talking to me. So I'm going to tell you what, never listen to the doctors. Never. If you have somebody who's in a coma, and they telling you that, hey, your loved one is in a coma, they're brain dead, we've done everything we can do, don't listen to them. You have your faith in God and you pray about it and you bring your loved one back. You talk to them. You don't allow the negativity in that room, and you don't, you don't let them cry over you. You don't let them, don't listen to them, because they told my mother and my family that, it was nothing they could do, that I was dead, and I was brain dead, and I had no brain activity. And I didn't have any brain activity. The machines were breathing for me and everything. So anyway, I was in a coma, and the infectious disease doctor was saying that they've given me all the medicine, and the medicine isn't working, and I wasn't ever going to wake up. But God had a different plan for me. So I woke up, and I was in the hospital. Supposedly only stayed one day in the hospital. I was in the hospital 30 days. So during my hospital stay, my wound from when they cut me open from the emergency surgery became infected. So after I told them that it was infected, of course they didn't listen to me. So I sat in the bed for a week with an infected wound. And it wasn't until the doctor came and I said, I'll keep telling the nurses that this wound is infected, and they won't listen to me. And so he, without any pain medicine or anything, he comes to my bed and he opens my staples without any, literally just ripped them out. And when he ripped them out, the infection just oozed out. So, I had to be placed on a wound vac. If anybody knows what that is, it's literally what it sounds like. It's a vacuum that vacuums out a wound, and it's on you 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I had that on me with IV antibiotics like forever, and that hurt so bad. But I couldn't, like, the whole time I was in the hospital, I didn't cry one time because I didn't want my kids to see me crying. So as much pain as I was in, like, my family didn't ever see me cry, because I wouldn't let them see me hurting, because I didn't want them to hurt. So I was in the hospital 30 days, and after I was released on IV antibiotics. I still had to go to the hospital every day, 7 days a week, to get my IVs, antibiotics, and still to get my wound care changed, get the wound vac changed every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I did that until April. And then after that, they took everything else off. I woke up one day and couldn't move. And I went to the doctor, and they're like, well, it's just your muscles because you hadn't moved in so long. And I'm like, no, it's not my muscles. Like, when are y'all going to listen to me? So I'm like, well, send me to a specialist, because it's not my muscles. It has to be my bones. So she sent me to a rheumatologist, and the rheumatologist did a bone scan. And a bone scan revealed that the infection from the peritonitis had set into my bones, which made me develop rheumatoid arthritis. So now, because of this hysterectomy, I have rheumatoid arthritis because I developed a autoimmune disease. And I also have fibromyalgia. And so, in addition to that, I started forgetting a lot. So they sent me to a neuropsychologist who did a lot of brain testing and everything, and found out that I have permanent left-sided brain damage. Like, so during my coma, my left side of my brain didn't wake up as fast as my right side. So I have permanent brain damage. And so those are some of the reasons why I can't go back to work, and I won't ever be able to work, because I can't remember. So just want to say, if your loved one ever has any surgery and they're complaining, like, we know our bodies, like, know your body. Tell the doctor if something is wrong, or if you feel like something's wrong, tell them, and don't stop until they listen. you know my death could have been prevented if had she just listened to me. I wouldn't have died had they just listened to me. you know So, I have some pictures just to show you kind of what I went through. Um, I have pictures from when I was in my coma. And mind you, before I went to the hospital, I was like so healthy. I had just did a 90-day health challenge with my cousin James where I ate nothing, I drank nothing, like I lost so much weight. I was the healthiest I had ever been, and that's one of the reasons, that's one of the things that really saved me because I was healthy. I never smoked a day in my life. I wasn't really a drinker, and I was really healthy. So that and God, that's what really saved me. So I'm gonna show you a couple pictures of when I was in. Yes, Linda, God gives you tests to make testimonies, and I'm hoping that my testimony saves somebody today. So, I'll show you two pictures of when I was in a coma. They were taken by my son, bless his heart. So, here's one. I hope everybody can see it. And here's another one. And I'm going to show you some pictures of when my wound, just a couple. I hope you guys aren't like squeamish because I'm going to show you when my stomach was infected, how how like how big the wound was. So I hope you aren't like, if you're squeamish, don't don't look, please. So this is when my stomach was infected, and you can kind of see how the infection is at the bottom on the gauze. So so that's when my stomach was infected at the beginning, when after they opened me up. Here's another picture. So like I said, God don't give you nothing you can't handle, honey. Um, but I have some pictures as it was healing, as it was getting smaller and smaller with the wound vac. It's kind of just what I went through, and it became smaller and smaller each day. Yeah. And this is actually what the wound, okay, this is what the wound vac actually looks like. Like it was, oh, Naya, can you find a picture where I put the actual wound vac? It is one. That's like the tape. It was like they had to create a suction to keep it suction in 24 hours. And I think I actually have a picture of the actual wound vac. I think. Oh, here it is. Look through these. Look through theirs. I'm going to have Anaya find it for me. Okay. So this is the wound vac. And it was actually, if you can look at the little container, that's actually my flesh. It was actually sucking my flesh into the container every day, and I would have to empty it every day. Yeah. So that's just some stuff that I had to go through. And just imagine, I went through that from January to like March. No, April. From January to April, I had to keep that wound vac on 24 hours a day. This is when I was in the hospital. I had to get my lungs suctioned every day to get the bile out of my lungs. Um, this is some of the bile that came out of my lung. Can you see? Look how much it was. What else? Let me see. This is when I was getting my IV antibiotic treatments. Sometimes I would elect to do it at home by myself, since I am in healthcare myself. I would do it at home. I would have Naya do it at home. I look a hot mess, but I would do it at home by myself. You see the little IV thing on a little shelf. I would do it at home by myself. So, and this is me getting my IV treatment at 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so after all of that, because whenever you're in a coma, you are literally swollen from all the fluid. So your body swells really bad, like you are literally so swollen. So because your body swells, your feet and your hands swell as well. So once the swelling goes down, your hands and your feet will peel, like, and it's so painful, like it hurts so bad. So this is when, after my swelling went down, my feet and my hands would peel, and this is like how it would peel, like literally my feet and my hands would peel, and it would be so painful. Like, this is a picture of when my feet would peel after the swelling went down. And if you can see the top of my fingers, like my fingers would peel just out the blue. They would just peel. And just another picture of my hands peeling. What else we got over there? Feet. Yeah, let me see. One more picture. A good one. Just more pictures of my hands and my feet peeling. Just, it would just peel, like so much, just skin would just peel off my feet, just literally just peel, and it would be so painful. And so, yeah, anyway, that's my story. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I can answer anything. Like, I feel like God brought me here, you know. He left me here for a reason. My test was definitely a little testimony, and I hope that my story helps somebody today. So if anybody got a question or anything, I don't want anybody to be afraid to have a hysterectomy. I just want everybody to be cautious, to know the signs and symptoms, to know your body, just to know that if anybody, know your body. Just don't listen to the doctors, Like I said, my death could have been prevented had she just listened to me, and now I'm going through everything. Like, I literally went to the hospital healthy, very healthy, not taking any medicine. And now I take more medicine than both of my grandmothers put together. I take 20 medicines a day, and I take a shot every other. I take a shot every other Sunday, just to live. So, I mean, God kept me here for a reason, So, if anybody got a question about anything, y'all can ask it, and I will, I'll be happy to answer it. So, everybody say they got a favorite Bible verse. My favorite Bible verse is Psalms 23 verse 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I would fear no evil. That's true, because I did. I walked through the valley of death and I feared no evil, because I knew God was with me. And even though the angel of death was sitting right there, I wasn't afraid. I told him I wasn't going with him, and I didn't. So, you know, I just wanted to share my story, and hopefully my story helps someone else. So, thank y'all. God bless y'all too. I am strong. It took me a long time to be this strong. Like, y'all don't know how much this really makes somebody depressed, not being able to go back to work. You know, this will really make somebody who's really weak. This will make them. This will really make them like really depressed. But because I have such an awesome family, such a strong support system. Like, I can't give up, because they won't give up on me. Like, my cousin Tanya, bless her heart, my sister cousin, she flew down here when I was in the hospital, and she wouldn't let nobody do anything to me before they told her what they were doing. Like, she was going off on those nurses. Oh my God. Bless her heart. I love her so much. Y'all just don't have a y'all don't have a clue. And my mommy, like I said, she wouldn't allow any negativity into my room. And my stepmommy Minnie, she made sure she took care of me. She made sure everybody, because she worked at the hospital that I was in, she made sure all the staff knew who I was. She made sure everybody took care of me. She took care of me. I can't thank her enough. I love her to death. Yep. I do. Thank you, Brenda. No, you know what, Brenda? I didn't break down until, I didn't break down until I got home. Like I said, I didn't cry in the hospital. I didn't. Dr. Kennedy came and see me. She came when I was in my coma. She came to see me, and she pretty much looked at my, she looked at my medical records, and she pretty much talked to the doctors, and you know she ensured my family that I was strong, and that I was gonna fight and come through, because she knew me, and she knew the type of person I was, and she knew I was a fighter. So she basically stuck through. She came and seen me the whole time, so I was pretty strong. So I ain't break down the whole time I was in the hospital. I didn't cry not one time. I didn't cry until I got home, because the realization of it just kind of hit me. You know, like I said, I don't remember anything. My memory is so messed up. Like, I don't remember even going to the hospital. I have no recollection of going to the hospital. I don't remember. The last memory I have from before my surgery is going to Atlanta. And I went to Atlanta right after Christmas. So I don't remember. And I worked the week before my surgery, and I don't even remember working. I don't remember going to the hospital. I don't remember waking up from my surgery. Apparently, I woke up and did a Facebook post, and I don't even remember that. I text my brother. I text my baby daddy. Not my baby daddy. My kid's father. I hate baby daddy. I hate baby daddy. I text my children's father to let him know that I had a successful surgery, and I don't remember doing that. I text my brother and told him that I had a successful surgery, and I don't remember doing that. So, like I said, I don't remember. Like I said, I have left hemisphere brain damage, and that society of brain, that the short-term memory, and so, it affects me a lot. So I don't remember a lot. So, Thank you, Brenda. Yep, I've been through it all, honey. Yes, please share my story, please. I want you all, please, everybody share my story. I want everybody to share my story because my story can help somebody else. Like I said, she did my hysterectomy. She pierced my bowel. She saw that I was bleeding. She saw I was bleeding. She just stopped the bleeding and she never checked where I was bleeding from. So she just closed me up. Um, and like I said, had she checked where I was bleeding, I wouldn't have died. Like I said, I had a normal routine hysterectomy. And when she used the robot pierced my small bowel. And like I said, I was bleeding uncontrollably. And instead of her checking from where I was bleeding from, she just stopped the bleeding from, inside my uterus. And then she just literally used it's a machine, it's a tool called a cauterizer. And what it does is it literally just burns the tissue to stop the bleeding. So she just burned the tissue inside the uterus to stop the bleeding. So once she saw that the bleeding stopped, she just went on and continued with the hysterectomy. So she didn't see the bleeding anymore because the bleeding was in my small bowel, which was outside of my uterus. So she continued on with the surgery. And so when she closed me up, bio continued to bleed, continued to spill inside of my abdominal wall. And so, like I said, an hour after my surgery, my stomach began to swell, and I was in extreme, excruciating pain. And as I was telling her, like, something is not right, instead of her doing an ultrasound, doing a CT scan, or anything, she's just like, well, I think you have a hernia. And I'm like, I didn't have a hernia before the surgery. How could I have one now? You know, so instead of her listening to me, she just pretty much ignored me. And she's like, well, if you're still in pain in the morning, we'll have a general surgeon, check you out. And like I said, I never made it to the morning. I died. So, I went into, like I said, I developed peritonitis and went into septic shock and I coded. So, you know, and like I said, they took me to emergency surgery, cut me open, saw that bile was spilling out everywhere. They resectioned my small bowel after they found out where it had been cut at or pierced at, and I coded again, and I never came to. I slipped into a coma, and I was in a coma for almost 2 weeks. Yeah, and they literally told my family that, like literally, 10% of people who develop peritonitis and slip into a coma end in a fatality. So I guess I'm part of the 10% who well, 90%, I should say, 90% of people who develop peritonitis and slip into a coma um, end in fatality. So I guess I'm part of the 10% who survive because God had a different plan for me. Yeah. So yeah. So like I say, um, if your wives, sisters, mothers, cousins, any loved one who goes and have a hysterectomy, even if it's not robotically assisted or whatever, you know, they know their bodies. Don't let the doctors tell you, anything. You keep telling those doctors until they listen, and that goes for any surgery. That's how most of the that's how most things happen, and that's how most normal routine surgeries end in death. It's because the doctors won't listen, or something simple happens, and instead of them listening to the patient, they just ignore them. So had she listened to me in the first place and did an ultrasound or did a CT scan or whatever, she would have seen that, there was, fluid in my abdominal cavity, and perhaps that could have sparked an emergency surgery sooner. And, you know, perhaps I would not have died. But like I said, I coded twice, and the second time it took me all the way out. So, but like I said, God wasn't ready for me because He sent me back. So I'm here to tell you about my test, and it's my testimony, and hopefully my testimony becomes helped someone else. And like I said, the reason for my video isn't to just like say, hey, I'm going to put my business in the street. No, it's to, like I said, strengthen your belief in God, because trust me, it's real. He's real. And also to helpfully help someone else, save somebody else. That's what I plan to do. So if anybody got questions, I can ask your questions. If not, I'm going to end my video. So does anyone have any questions? And like I say, please share the video. It could, like I say, this video could save a life. Okay. So nobody has questions? Alright, so if y'all missed the beginning of the video with the pictures and everything, I'm gonna post it so you can go back and watch it. I appreciate everybody for sharing it. Like I say, please share it. Like I say, sharing the video can help someone else. Hopefully save a life, increase their faith in God. Oh, my symptoms. The symptoms of peritonitis are I was having extreme pain, even with it's extreme abdominal pain, even with morphine, even with everything that they were giving me. That pain does not go away. Extreme abdominal pain, nausea, sweating, vomiting. Those are the signs of peritonitis. Nothing you do makes that pain go away. Nothing. That pain, even with them giving me morphine, I would literally go out. Like, as soon as they give me the morphine, I would literally pass out, but I would wake up screaming because the pain would be so, it would be so bad that I would just be literally bent over in pain, screaming. So, and then your blood pressure drops literally 20 points every 10 minutes. Like, my blood pressure was dropping 20 points every 10 minutes because I was literally dying. Like, my heart was stopping. The peritonitis, what it does is it builds up in your abdominal cavity, and what it does is it eventually stops your organs. And so that's what it was doing. It was literally stopping my organs. So my heart was the last thing it stopped. So as my blood pressure was going down, it was literally stopping my heart. So that's why my blood pressure was dropping 20 points every 10 minutes, because the peritonitis was, yeah, it was really, and then the bile was was like getting into my bloodstream and traveling up to my brain. And so that's why I went into septic shock. And that's why I coded that in the part that I went into cardiac arrest. So yeah, I went into cardiac arrest, respiratory arrest, and septic shock. So basically, my heart stopped. I stopped breathing, and my brain literally stopped functioning. So yep, I've been through the ringer. So now y'all know my story. Can you explain again to everyone the issues you're having now? Well, my issue now is because my abdominal wound became infected. When it became infected, it grew candida. And candida, what it does is it went into my bloodstream, set into my, that in the bile, set into my bones, made me develop an autoimmune disease. The autoimmune disease is rheumatoid arthritis. And what it does is it attacks my immune system. In my case, it attacks my joints. Um, and it causes my joints to swell, causing rheumatoid arthritis. So, and also I have fibromyalgia, which is nerve pain, which is overactive nerve pain, which was caused from the from the poison from the bile. It caused my nerves to be overactive. So that's why I have fibromyalgia. And then by me being in the coma, when I woke up, the right side of my brain woke up faster than the left side of my brain. And so now I have left hemisphere brain damage, which causes me to have short-term memory loss. So, Brenda, that's what's going on with me now. And that's why I can't work anymore, because 3 doctors now have deemed me totally disabled. So that's why I can't work anymore. Not that I don't want to, because I loved patient care. I love nursing. I loved taking care of people. I miss it so much. But hey, if I can't think and I can't remember, I don't think it's a good idea that I go back. So yeah, so Brenda, that's why that's my issues that I'm having now. And like I said, I take 20 pills a day to live. 20 pills. I have to take them for the rest of my life if I want to live. 20 pills a day, and I take Humira injections every other week. Yes, I went through physical therapy. I didn't go through home care because oh, that's a good question, Tanya. Did I go through physical therapy, and what about home care, and how often do I see doctors? Okay. I went through aquatic physical therapy. I had to go 3 times a week for 4 months. And I didn't have home care because I went to have my IV antibiotics 7 days a week. So I didn't have to have home care because they took care of my wounds and everything there. So I didn't have to have home care. And that was from January to April, so I didn't have to have home care. I did, however, have to learn how to walk again, because when you die, you literally have to learn how to walk again. I couldn't walk. I could barely talk when I first woke up. I couldn't. I had to learn how to eat again. I had to learn how to walk again. Like, my body was like mush. I couldn't do anything. I was discharged on a walker. I couldn't walk. I had to learn to walk again. I had to learn to talk again, learn to eat again. I had to learn everything all over again. And now, doctors. I go to the doctor a lot. I have a neuropsychologist. I have a rheumatologist. I have a lung specialist. I see my primary care physician. I have a psychologist. I have a therapist. I have, seems like I see my gynecologist more than anybody. Who else do I see? Seems like I'm leaving out somebody. Yeah, I see about 7 doctors. I see them, let's see, my rheumatologist, I see her every 3 months. I see my gynecologist every 2 months. I see my neurologist for my brain. I see him every 3 months. I see my primary care physician, not a lot. I see my psychiatrist probably every 3 months. I see a lot of doctors. Like I said, when I went to have my routine hysterectomy, I literally was very healthy. I didn't even take a vitamin every day. So, like I said, I take 20 medicines a day now just to live. And I take my Humira injections every other Sunday. So, yeah. Now my life is consumed with going to doctors and going to see therapists. So that was a good question, um, Tanya. Honeybee, um, I had a routine hysterectomy, um, and my small bowel was pierced unknowingly. And then the doctor closed me up, and I coded. I died. Went to emergency surgery, died again, slipped into a coma, and yeah. So you can watch the video again. I'm gonna post it after this, so you can watch the whole thing. I posted like pictures and everything, so you can see everything I went through. Um, and you can share it too, please. I want everybody to share this video, and I hope that my story helps someone else. And like I said, I wanted to tell my story because, like I said, it was 2 years ago, but it took this long for me to be able to tell it without being emotional. Um, so, anybody else got any questions? Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. Hugs back to you. Yeah, I went through the ringer. Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Like, to see me, you wouldn't think I went through what I went through, but I've been on a journey. I've been on a journey, honey. I really have. I've been on a journey. Some days I can't even get up. When it rains, it's a wrap. I can't even get up when it rains. My bones swell so bad that I can't even move when it rains. Okay, so like I said, share, share, share. You're welcome, Brenda. It was my pleasure to share my story. I know everybody was wondering what really happened. Um, I know um, everybody always wanted to. Thanks, Honeybee. Everybody wanted to know, and everybody kind of heard what happened, but now that you really know what happened, like I said, I want everybody to, like, I'm going to post this so you all can watch it from the beginning and see the pictures that I posted, and everything. Yep, I've been through the ringer, so just keep me lifted in prayer. I love you all. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.